Hello, everybody. Welcome to this presentation. Here, we are going to cover analysis of Hero Motors Annual Report 2017-2018. And my name is Dayanand Minashi. First, just a little disclaimer. The content of this video presentation is for educational purpose only. If you decide to use it for making any investment decision, then you are doing it at your own risk. First, let's start with the introduction. This analysis is based on the principles of the textbook Security Analysis by Ben Graham and David Dodd, the classic 1940 edition. This is the same textbook Warren Buffett followed when he first learned about investment analysis. It's a really good book. I strongly recommend it because I learned a lot by reading it. It's certainly not very easy to follow. It has around 851 pages. So to make things simple, I have created a simplified version of this book called Security Analysis Study Aid, Notes and Quiz Questions. It is available in Amazon. It looks something like this. So you can certainly purchase this, and but you still would need the main book because this again refers there. So I can show you like a brief this thing how my study notes look like. So I've covered all the 851 pages and I've divided them into different questions. So like let's say in the first section of the book, which is the survey and approach, it talks about what are why we have to do security analysis, what is intrinsic value, what is earning power and things like that. All that I have covered and explained there. So this guide will help you follow my video presentations. So that's the objective. So now coming back to our agenda, uh, that's one thing, and then let's to start with, let's first understand what is the difference between investment and speculation. So an investment operation is one which upon thorough analysis promises safety of principal and a satisfactory return. Operations not meeting these requirements are speculative. So this has been stated in Security Analysis, again, the textbook, page 106. So the reason I want to emphasize, is because many people I've seen, they analyze financial statements, they do things, but they go and they just invest in stocks just as if they are buying a lottery ticket. So it's like, I mean, if you're trying to do that, and don't waste your time here, then actually what it means is you're actually speculating. You're actually trying to think how the market is going to behave, and you're trying to do that, which, I mean, by no means I mean, it's not illegal. You feel free to do it, but I certainly, do not recommend that. By speculating, no one has made any substantial investment gains in long term. So you might make a little bit money here and there, but in long run, people have mostly lost money by speculating. So I would say, you know, you just hold on to your, core analysis and investment, and it needs a lot of patience, and it needs a lot of hard work and all, but in long run, it will pay off. So this is again, like I consider Warren Buffett as my guru. He, I feel, if you want to emulate anyone, if you want to understand like what exactly is possible through thorough analysis and through following investment principles, then the best person you can actually look upon is Warren Buffett. He started his investment business in 1956 with $100, and the whole world knows, like, he's worth like $70 billion or something like that. So obviously, like, so his two words of wisdom that I always keep in my desk. The first is from his 1987 Berkshire Hathaway shareholders letter. It states, whenever Charlie and I buy common stocks for Berkshire's insurance companies, leaving aside arbitrage purchases discussed later. We approach the transaction as if we are buying into a private business. We look at the economic prospects of the business, the people in charge of running it, and the price we must pay. We do not have in mind any time or price for sale. Indeed, we are willing to hold a stock indefinitely so long as we expect the business to increase in intrinsic value to a satisfactory rate. When investing, we view ourselves as business analysts, not as market analysts, not as macroeconomic analysts, not even as security analysts. And then in 2014, there is another very good piece of uh, advice he has given. A sound investment can morph into a rash speculation if it is bought at an elevated price. Berkshire is not exempt from this truth. So, what these two things mean is, so let's get back. Like, we're trying to analyze Hero Motors. Obviously, you're trying to figure out, hey, is that going to be a good investment for me? The way Buffett advises people to look at is, think as if you're going to buy Hero Motors. Okay, think like you you're going to buy Hero Motors business, and you're going to buy it forever. So basically, he thinks like if the stock market closes tomorrow, and it doesn't open for 10 years, he's not worried, because he looks, when he buys uh, any stock, he basically looks as if he's buying a business. So what he thinks his philosophy is, like, buying a stock in business is no different than buying a whole business. It's just like you're buying a small piece of a business. So when you buy, like, there are about 20 crores, around 20 crore shares outstanding for Hero Motors. So you buy, let's say 100 shares, you're buying 100 divided by 20 crores. So it's like, it's something, it's a very simple philosophy. It seems pretty straightforward, but what happens is the investment psychology, the moment you think about stock market, you think about other things, you like, you try to forget. So I always keep this. So I would advise you also, just keep this kind of a, as a printout, and keep it on your desk, and think about it every day. Every time you make an investment decision, just think about this, and see, like, this person has been successful for 62 years following this. There must be something about it, right? Like, it's just like, if there's any batsman, he's trying to learn, like, in cricket, like, he's trying to learn batting. So he'll obviously look at Sachin Tendulkar, like, he's was considered to be, the best in this field, and he's going to see how he was able to, progress in his career. So certainly, like, so that's my advice. So keep this part always in the back of your mind when you're analyzing any uh, business. So now let's start. What is the objective of this analysis? So what exactly are we trying to achieve by looking this? So I want to clarify very in straightforward that we are trying to identify important aspects of the business so that we can build a factor of safety when we are valuing the stock. So you're trying to see, look at the business more from the detective angle. So if you're given in charge to become a detective, and you, let's say, enter a house, you find many good things, but you're more focused on things where you're skeptical, and you pay more weightage there. If things are good, okay, but so that's how it is. So like, so we'll go through the whole report, and we'll go step by step, and I would say that, we'll keep the focus on more skeptical items. So what I've done, I've gone through the whole report, and I've created like a cheat sheet, like which page has what, like, an index. The report itself is about 272 pages long. So we'll go through it. So I downloaded from the company's website, you know, uh, heomotors.com. If you go, you it's free of charge. You can download it. So let's go by one. So obviously it start with the chairman's letter. product launches, campaigns, things like that. But before that, what I want to first understand, the first thing what you do when you look at any annual report is how they make money. Very simple thing, right? How Hero Motors actually makes money. So what you can get a brief idea of that in page 42. So let's look at page 42 first. So if you go down here, oh, sorry, I went a little fast. Okay, okay, so it's page 42 here. Okay, good. So you can see this is the total number of vehicles the company has sold. So they give a good comparison. So basically, the products are motorcycles, you must be knowing, and also some other two-wheelers like mopeds and things like that. So all their core business is manufacturing and selling two-wheelers. So they sold in the year 2008 2009 37 lakh, 37.22 lakh motorcycles. 2009 10 46, then slowly progressed to 54, then by 2011 12 62. So it's kind of you can say this is about 25% growth here. Then this was about 20% growth. So 2 years they had good growth. Then again their growth rate a little bit slowed. You can say about 15%. And then 11 12 12 13 13 14, and 15 16 16 17. So pretty much from 2011 to 12 to 2016 17, you can see that they have been like flat. Okay, so there has not been much growth. So the number of vehicles sold is between 60 and 66 lakhs. Okay, it's just been, in fact, 14 15 and 16, like literally they have been identical. And 17 18, they little bit progressed and they grew by about 12%, and they sold 76 about 75.87 lakhs. Now what exactly this tells you? So the first thing obviously is the sales trend. So if you look at any, the stereotype report is they look at a growth rate and they just stick to it. But in reality, that's not correct. If you see, growth rate is never like a straight angle. It will always keep varying. And when you are estimating the growth rate, as we mentioned, the objective is to have a factor of safety. You have to think like that. So, okay, last 10 years, it has not always been flat, not always been straight. It's not like the company has always grown by 8% or 9% or 10%. It has been so. When you're projecting for the next 10 years, let's say in your valuation model, you have to think like that. You have to think like, it's there are going to be ups and downs, and you have to have a good factor of safety. So it's just like, if you're going to the airport from your home, and let's say it takes 1 hour. So what do you think is, so if your flight is at let's say like 11 o'clock, you have to be complete the security by 10 o'clock. You do the backward math. You think about, like, it'll take so much time to park and everything takes 1 hour. So you're like, okay, if I get out from home at 9 o'clock, I can reach at 10 o'clock. But we never do that, right? What we do is we put factor of safety. We're like, I don't know, if there can be a traffic jam, there can be, some sort of thing. So I'll start at 8 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock. So there's good factor of safety. Now, let's say what actually happened. So actually, let's say that day there was no traffic. There was like literally no traffic. Everything worked smooth. You got a parking spot right away near to the, security. You parked your car, you checked in, and you actually finished everything in 40 minutes. So now the next time when you catch a flight, are you actually going to assume the same thing? Oh, you know what? The last time it was cool. Let me actually start, and instead of 9 o'clock, I'll start at like 9:20 and still do. No, you never ever do that, because that thing that happened was just amount of luck. You still always keep a factor of safety. So that's what, so the whole concept of factor of safety is.